Imagine a world where pirates ruled the seas, feared by entire empires. Not just any pirates, but a confederation of over 70,000 men and women, hundreds of ships strong, controlling trade routes and standing against mighty naval forces. And at the helm of this formidable fleet was not a ruthless warlord or a battle-hardened admiral, but a woman, Ching Shih.
A woman who rose from the shadows of a Cantonese brothel to become the most powerful pirate in history. Her name might not be as well known in the West as Blackbeard, but let me tell you, even the mightiest empires feared her. This is not a legend, not a myth. This is history, as unbelievable as it may seem.
And today, we're going to tell you her story. A story of ambition, power, strategy, and survival. Get ready, because this is one of the most astonishing tales in the history of piracy. So, let's start at the beginning. Ching Shih, also known as Zheng Yi Saw, which means wife of Zheng Yi, was born around 1775 in Guangdong, China. Her original name is lost to history, but we do know where she first appeared, working in a brothel in Canton. Now, before you jump to conclusions, let's talk about what that actually meant in 18th century China.
Exactly. These weren't just places of entertainment. Many high-class brothels were hubs of political intrigue, where merchants, officials, and even foreign dignitaries let their guard down. Ching, she wasn't just a courtesan, she was a keen observer, a listener, someone who gathered information like a strategist planning her next move. And this skill would prove invaluable later.
Then, in 1801, she caught the eye of Zheng Yi, a rising pirate commander. But here's where it gets interesting. He didn't just want her as a wife. He wanted her as a partner.
And Ching, she made sure of it. Some sources suggest that she negotiated her own terms before marrying him. She wouldn't just be his wife. She would have a say in running the fleet. And together, they transformed the Red Flag Fleet into an empire of the seas.
For 6 years, Ching Shih and Zheng Yi built their power, absorbing smaller pirate bands, intimidating merchants, and controlling the South China Sea. At its peak, their fleet commanded over 1,800 ships. That's more than some national navies of the time. But then, in 1807, Zheng Yi died unexpectedly. And now, you'd expect the fleet to crumble. After all, how could a woman hold command over thousands of ruthless pirates?
But Ching, she wasn't just any woman. She didn't just survive, she took control. She secured the loyalty of Zheng Yi's closest allies, including Zhang Baozai, a trusted lieutenant. And she ensured the fleet didn't fall into chaos.
And how did she do it? By proving she was smarter, stricter, and more ruthless than anyone else.
Ching, she knew that discipline was key to maintaining power. She implemented a strict pirate code. Break the rules, and you paid with your life.
Let's go over a few of these rules. First, absolute obedience to orders. Any defiance? Death.
Second, all loot had to be registered and distributed fairly. No hoarding, no stealing. Thieves were executed.
And here's a surprising one. Female captives were not to be mistreated. Any pirate caught harming a woman would be executed. If a pirate took a wife, he had to be loyal to her.
This was a game changer. It wasn't just about brute force. It was about discipline, organization, and control.
The Qing Dynasty wasn't happy about a pirate fleet ruling the South China Sea. So in 1808, they launched a massive crackdown. But they underestimated Ching Shih.
She had mastered naval warfare. She used false retreats to lure enemy ships into traps. She had her pirates trained in specialized boarding tactics. Time and time again, the Qing Navy suffered humiliating defeats. Even when the Chinese government sought help from the British and Portuguese, they couldn't stop her.
At this point, Ching, she wasn't just a pirate. She was an untouchable naval power. The government had one last option: negotiate.
Now, here's the part that blows my mind. In 1810, Ching Shih didn't surrender in defeat. She walked into negotiations and dictated her own terms.
And what did she demand? Full amnesty for herself and her entire fleet. Not just pardons, but official military and government positions for her men. And you know what? The Qing Dynasty agreed.
She retired, filthy rich, and lived out the rest of her life in peace. Think about that. How many pirates in history retire undefeated, keeping their wealth, and even gaining government recognition?
Ching Shih's story is one of intelligence, power, and defiance. She wasn't just a pirate queen. She was a strategist, a commander, and a ruler in her own right.
And in a time when women had almost no power and leadership, she commanded thousands. That alone makes her one of the most extraordinary figures in history.
What do you think? Was Ching Shih the greatest pirate of all time? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more incredible stories of the women who shaped China's past.